does that story end? Does that end with you fighting a UFC fighter who's currently on their roster?
I think it ends with me running into him in a club in Vegas and knocking him the fuck out.
Jake Paul keeps mentioning your name. He says he's going to knock you out if he runs across you in Vegas. So are you tuning in and cheering for Tyron tomorrow?
It actually makes sense. I'm 52 years old. I'm in the age bracket of guys he fights. So I could see him wanting to fight me. It's all he fights are 50-year-olds. Let me tell you what, get in line. There's plenty of people that would like to assault me. Get in line. It's a long fucking line, buddy.
I think there's a movement moving forward that is going to show that fighters should be getting paid more. It's unfair. The UFC fighters don't have fair pay. Francis Ngannou versus John Jones. That fight should happen. Dana White, pay them the $10 million. He's taking their money. They're the ones making the content. They're the ones getting in the ring, risking their life. Chris Weidman goes in, snaps his leg in half. What's that look like? He may never be able to fight again and provide food for his family. These fighters are risking their lives. You can quite literally die in the ring, and they need to be compensated more. So fuck that shit. Fuck Dana White. No one else can talk shit to Dana because he'll just sideline them, and then they're fucked. I'm the only one that doesn't need Dana White in the fight world. Everyone else is scared of him. I don't give a fuck about him.
So Jake Paul calls Clarissa Shields a loser. Clarissa Shields is nothing but a winner who actually fought real people in her weight class, in her own age, in her own sport, and then goes over to MMA and tries to win a world title. That's not a loser. That's a winner. Okay. When are you going to start fighting somebody your own fucking age, your own weight? You know, that actually fights in your own fucking sport that you're claiming you're in. Shut the fuck up, you goofball. Dude, for you to call Clarissa Shields a loser is fucking unbelievable.
She actually threatened to knock him out as well. She said, I could knock him out with one hand behind my back.
I hope she knocks him. I hope he runs into her somewhere and she knocks him the fuck out. There you go. Clarissa Shields is nothing but a winner.
Clarissa Shields loses MMA bout. That's her. Maybe this is why Dana loves Conor so much, because he always loses. I think he's confused. But let's keep going.
When are you going to start fighting somebody your own fucking age, your own weight, that actually fights in your own fucking sport that you're claiming you're in?
Right now, Daddy Dana. Look at that. I just announced it today. Thank you for being a part of the announcement. And we're basically the same age, the same height, the same reach, and the same weight. He's 7-0, undefeated. I'm 4-0, undefeated. And his brother's the heavyweight champion of the world. If that's not a real boxer, I don't know what is. I'm doing it, Dana. Thank you for the promotion. I love you.
Jake, you never responded to the challenge. You publicly stated that I use cocaine. I do not. So I told you could randomly cocaine test me for the next 10 years. I believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you use steroids. So I want to randomly steroid test you for the next 2 years. And that thing that you came out with today, nobody on earth thinks that you really wrote that. You're too stupid. And for those of you that don't know, if you've ever watched one of his fights and you see when they do the stare down, the guy that's standing in the middle with the warlock nose and the big warlock wart on his face, apparently that's his manager. And that guy used to be an accountant for me. And let's just say this, he no longer works for me, and I think he's a scumbag. But if you two think that you can do it better than we do, we're doing this whole thing wrong, you could treat the fighters better than we do, knock yourself out. Go start your own business. It's easy to do. Go get the Warlock on it. The Warlock can get it started for you. What you and the Warlock should be focused on is your business. You're tanking. You can't sell pay-per-views. You're calling out Jorge Masvidal because he's a pay-per-view superstar. Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, Mike Tyson. These are all superstars. You're not. You can't sell pay-per-views. So you do whatever the hell you want to do. I'm ready to roll, buddy. I don't use cocaine. Do you use steroids? Let's do this, Jake.
Dana, I accepted every part of your challenge. I said I would fight Masvidal in MMA. Steroid test me whenever the fuck you want. It is 2 weeks after my fight, and I am a fat bitch. I don't do steroids, and I take it as a compliment because there's no other excuse to me knocking out all of your champions than this kid does steroids. Look at me. Look at that. A fat bitch. If you steroid test me, then I want to steroid test every one of your fighters. Ooh, you want to do it though, will you?
I use cocaine.
You have been caught with cocaine and hookers every other week.
I use cocaine.
And you think that, like, with all the money that you have, like billionaire or some shit, that you would get some fucking Botox, because your forehead looks like a motherfucking GPS Google map, like all the lines in it and shit. Dana White lies, numbers don't. You want to talk shit about my manager, who is the CFO of your company that helped you sell it to Endeavor, $4 billion? You're just a jealous, ugly fuck. You don't know what true happiness is. You're the definition of a fucking unhappy billionaire who thought that money was gonna make their lives better. I feel bad for you. You addressed nothing that I said. I accepted your challenge. I said I would fight MMA. I said that I would retire from boxing, and you avoided all of that shit. You're a dog in a corner trying to fight to save his whole company, and the embarrassment that I've put you through, everybody sees it. The bottom line, Dana, is that you won't add healthcare for your fighters because you don't give a fuck about them. And you're too much of a greedy bitch to pay your minimum fighter more than $12,000 for risking their lives, which is what a janitor makes. You need to pay them $50,000, Dana. Stop avoiding my points.
I see there's a guy, Jake Paul, fucking with you. Is he on real estate in your head?
No. Listen, that's all part of the business. He's on fucking Showtime. Were they gonna fucking, you know what I mean? Showtime is like the fucking bottom of the barrel.
Are they in the shits though?
Oh, they're the fucking worst. The
Really?
worst. They think they're fucking HBO, but they're not. They're the shit can of pay TV.
Did he impress you a little bit after
10 people watch that fucking network. He beat up a 40-something-year-old fucking NBA player who's
Right.
30 pounds lighter than him, and now Woodley.
But Woodley's like he's a former UFC champ, right?
Let's not forget, Woodley hasn't won a fight in 3 fucking years, okay? He hasn't won a fight in 3 years. You know, he's 40 fucking years old.
But what if this kid just came out of nowhere and he's actually just a good boxer? What if he goes on a tear and goes 10-0?
He'd have to start fighting some boxers to prove that.
Right.
And I would imagine that in the gym, he's trained with plenty of boxers. So there's a reason he's not fighting boxers. He wants to keep fighting these retired UFC fucking wrestler
they're
guys.
definitely smart about it.
He's calling out Conor. Conor's a 145-pound champion and a 155-pound champion. I mean, what does Jake Paul weigh, 200 pounds?
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He's not small.
190?
Yeah. Conor's 145 pounds. He wants to fight 155. He wants to fight him.
Anderson Silva beat Chavez Jr. at 40 what? 44, 45 now?
46.
46? 40 fucking 6 years old. He now left this sport, which he was, considered one of the greatest of all time, goes out, beats Chavez Jr. in a boxing match, and knocks Tito out in 40 seconds. It'll be interesting to see what he does next. I fucking guarantee you this. You ain't going to see Jake Paul calling Anderson Silva out. That I fucking promise you. He's his size, and he's actually good. He's old, which is what Jake Paul likes to fight old guys that are too small and that are absolutely positively washed up.
Do you have any interest in fighting Anderson Silva?
I think it'd be a huge fight for sure. He's a legend of the sport. Great head movement, great striking. For me, I would love it. I have nothing but respect for Anderson. However, there is the side of it that's like he's 46 or 47 years old. And so I would want him to go through lots of testing to make sure that he's actually good to get into the ring. He's 22, 23 years older than me. It would be a lot of punishment for him, and I wouldn't want to take out the old guy. And part of me is like, there's a thing about Jake Paul fighting old guys and retired guys and Ben Askren and Tyron and whatever. People are trying to make excuses. Floyd Mayweather's 40-something years old when he beat Conor McGregor. But when I fight a 39-year-old, people get mad. So part of me is like, if I were to just fight Anderson Silva again, everyone would just be like, oh, just another old guy after I beat him. So it's kind of like a lose-lose situation because, if you win, you're like, oh, he's just the old guy, whatever. He's retired, he's washed up. I don't know, but definitely could be interesting if he undergoes the testing and we could figure something out.
Dana is the biggest obstacle. What's the deal with you guys? You said the feud is kind of personal.
Not for me, because he's this old guy who is clearly like a control freak. I'm the only one that's able to get under his skin.
Although it was a funny Halloween outfit you posted.
Yeah, the Coke smeared across my face in the Coke bag. And I put UFC, unlimited free cocaine. Because, everyone knows about Dana's Coke issue and all the hookers and shit, but...
What do you think about Mike Chandler knocking out Dan Hooker?
Someone said hookers?